Lakers Nation, I need you to stop scrolling and lock in for the next few minutes, because what Shams Charania just dropped on ESPN is the kind of thing that could finally fix the one hole that has been holding this entire era back. And if you click off before I get to the part about what Luka himself has been asking for, you are going to miss the exact reason this is real and not just another summer daydream. I was watching the program, half expecting more talk about LeBron's decision or Austin Reeves' next contract, when Shams leaned in with that measured, careful tone he only uses when he is sitting on something he has already confirmed. And he told the audience that his phone had rung. It was not the team. It was not some anonymous executive floating a story to gain leverage. The call came from the agent. From Domantas Sabonis' representation, the people who do not pick up the phone to a national reporter unless there is a real message to send. And then Shams did the thing that makes you sit straight up. He put his name on it. He looked into that camera and said he trusted the source completely, and that based on what he had been told, Domantas Sabonis wants to find his way to the Los Angeles Lakers to team up with Luka Doncic. Hey, what's up everyone? Real quick before we get into everything, that like button is literally what determines if this reaches hundreds or thousands of fans. Takes 1 second, but makes a huge impact on the channel's growth. Just smash that like button right now. It's the easiest thing you can do, but honestly, the biggest way to support this content. Every single like pushes this further, so hit it now. Now I already know what some of you are about to type, because the same thought hit me the instant he said it. Sabonis is under contract with the Sacramento Kings. He is a 3-time All-Star, owed $45.5 million next season. So how does a player still locked into another team end up at the center of a Lakers report in June? And that, my friends, is exactly why you cannot click away, because the answer is the part that makes this whole thing far more realistic than the people yelling fake news have thought through. Here is the reality. The Kings are in a full reset. This is a franchise that bottomed out, that lost game after game after game, that already blew up its core when it traded to Aaron Fox. Sacramento is looking to shed significant salary and reshape its entire roster, and league insiders have openly reported that the Kings are expected to make Domantas Sabonis available this summer, grouping his name alongside the biggest stars rumored to be on the move. This is not a wild fantasy. This is a player a rebuilding team is genuinely willing to trade, who is coming off a season cut short by knee surgery, on a big contract that a team starting over would love to move. When a franchise hits the reset button that hard, a veteran all-star on a major deal becomes a trade candidate almost by definition. That is the message the agent sent to Shams. Sabonis' camp is signaling where he wants to land if and when the Kings move him, and the name at the top of that list was the Lakers. So let me show you why Los Angeles makes more sense here than almost anywhere else, because once you understand this roster's single biggest weakness, the whole thing snaps into focus. The Lakers won over 50 games for the second straight season. They have the best offensive engine in basketball in Luka Doncic, a man who just led the entire NBA in scoring. They have Austin Reeves, who they are prioritizing in free agency. They have a Hall of Fame closer in LeBron James weighing his future. But every single time the playoffs arrived and the competition stiffened, the same fatal flaw was exposed: the center position. The Lakers got bullied up front. When Oklahoma City swept them out of the second round, their bigs got dominated on the glass and in the paint, outplayed at every turn. DeAndre Ayton, brought in to solve the problem, gave them maddening inconsistency, the kind of up and down play a real contender simply cannot survive. That is the hole. That is the exact wound that has bled out this team's championship hopes 2 years running, and Domantas Sabonis is one of the few players on the planet who can stop the bleeding. Think about what Sabonis actually is. This is a 3-time All-Star and one of the best rebounding big men of his entire generation, a player who has led the league on the glass, a relentless presence who controls the paint and ends possessions. Before his knee injury cut his season short, he was still putting up a double-double a night with elite passing numbers from the center spot, and that passing is the key. Because here's the part that should get you out of your seat, and it is the detail I promised you. Luka Doncic does not just need any center. He has been telling the Lakers exactly what he wants. Going back to last offseason, the reporting was that Luka asked the front office to find him a true frontcourt partner, the kind of big he had so much success with in Dallas when he led that team all the way to the finals. Luka's entire game is built on the two-man game, on the pick and roll, on a big who can catch, finish, and most of all, think the game at a high level alongside him, and there may be no better thinking, passing big man in the entire league than Domantas Sabonis. Picture it for a second. Picture Luka Doncic and Domantas Sabonis running a two-man game together. Two of the highest IQ offensive players in the world, both elite passers, both able to read a defense before it even moves. The handoffs. The pick and pops, the elbow touches where Sabonis becomes a second playmaking hub while Luka relocates and Reeves cuts. Defenses already cannot deal with Luka one-on-one. Now give him a center who can punish every help decision, who can rebound everything on the other end and kickstart the break, who can operate as the offensive fulcrum when Luka needs a breather. That is not a good offense anymore. That is a nightmare. And both of these guys are brilliant international stars who see the floor at a level very few players ever reach. There is a shared language between high IQ European-trained big men and a generational creator like Luka, an instinct for spacing, timing, and the extra pass that you cannot teach and cannot fake. The chemistry between two minds like that could be special, the kind of pairing that turns a 50-win team into a genuine title threat, the kind of duo that makes crypto. Come arena feel like the center of the basketball world again, and here's the part that makes the Lakers uniquely positioned to pull this off, the part that separates them from most of the league. They have the assets and the flexibility to actually do a deal. The Lakers come into this offseason with real financial maneuverability, a chunk of cap space, a first-round pick, and movable contracts they can package. Sacramento, in full rebuild mode, wants picks and wants to shed salary, and the Lakers can offer exactly that kind of framework. Now, I am going to be honest with you because I am not here to sell you a fairy tale. This will not be cheap. A trade for a player of Sabonis' caliber is going to cost the Lakers real draft capital, likely at least one first-round pick and possibly more, on top of matching the money. You do not pry a three-time All-Star away from a rebuilding team for spare parts. The Lakers would have to decide they are all in on this version of the roster around Luka, and they would have to part with assets to do it. But here is the thing, this front office has shown time and again that when it sees a chance to put a star next to its franchise player, it moves. They traded for Luka himself in the most stunning deal in recent memory. They are not afraid to be aggressive. And fixing the one position that has ended their last two seasons is exactly the kind of swing a team in win now mode takes. Now I have to give you the full picture because there are real questions here, and I will never be the channel that only tells you what you want to hear. Domantas Sabonis is not a rim protector. He is not a vertical lob threat who flies above the rim to swat shots and finish lobs the way some of Luka's old Dallas partners did. His value is in rebounding, passing, and offensive hub play, not in anchoring a defense at the rim, and he is coming off a torn meniscus, knee surgery that ended his season, which any team has to weigh seriously for a big man on the wrong side of 30 owed nearly $100 million over the next 2 years. Those are legitimate concerns, and I would be lying if I pretended they were not. The Lakers would have to believe in his health, and they would have to build the rest of their defense around his limitations, leaning on their wings and their scheme to cover the back line. That is a real bet, but weigh it against what they have now. They are not getting elite rim protection out of their current group either, and what Ayton and the current bigs cannot give them is the rebounding, the passing, and the sheer offensive gravity that Sabonis brings. This would not be a perfect center, but it would be a massive all-star level upgrade over what just got swept out of the playoffs, and it would give Luka the high-level frontcourt partner he has been openly asking for. And there is a structural reason the Lakers specifically are built to win a bidding war for a player like this. A reason that sets them apart from a lot of the contenders who would also love to have him. They have flexibility. Between their cap situation, a tradable first-round pick, and contracts like Rui Hachimura's that can be used to match salary, the Lakers can build a framework that actually works for a rebuilding Kings team that wants picks and wants to clear money. Most contenders chasing a player of Sabonis' caliber are already capped out and have almost nothing left to offer. The Lakers are not in that bind. They have real, usable assets and the ability to absorb salary in a way many of their rivals simply cannot. That is the difference between a team that can dream about a player and a team that can actually go get him, and it is a big part of why the agent's message landed in Los Angeles rather than somewhere else. And you have to understand the stakes of the conference this team is fighting in, because that context is everything. The Western Conference is a gauntlet of dominant big men. Oklahoma City, the team that just swept the Lakers, has elite size. The Spurs have a generational force in the middle. The Nuggets have one of the greatest centers to ever play the position. If the Lakers are going to compete in that conference, they cannot keep trotting out inconsistent frontcourt play and hoping Luka outscores everyone. They need a real, proven all-star big who can hold his own in those matchups on the glass and as a counterweight on offense. Adding a player like Domantas Sabonis is not about getting back to the second round and getting bounced again. It is about giving Luka Doncic a genuine running mate up front, so this team can finally match the heavyweights of the West blow for blow. That is the lens the front office has to view this through, and it makes the urgency crystal clear. The timing makes it all the more believable too. The NBA draft is right around the corner on June 23rd, and that is exactly when activity around a player like Sabonis is expected to accelerate, because so many trades get tied to draft night when picks are changing hands and teams are reshaping their rosters all at once. We are in the window where these deals come together. A rebuilding team looking to move a veteran, a contender looking to add the missing piece, draft capital in play, and the calendar pushing everyone toward decisions. That is why a message like this from the agent lands now. The clock is ticking toward the draft, and both sides know it. Let me take a step back and remind you exactly who this player is, because the knee injury and the trade rumors can make people forget just how good Domantas Sabonis has been. This is a three-time All-Star who has led the entire NBA in rebounding, a relentless double-double machine who has stuffed the stat sheet for years, one of the most productive big men of his era. Before the injury, he was still putting up a double-double a night with elite assist numbers from the center spot, the kind of all-around production almost no big in the league can match. And here is something people overlook. Before this season's meniscus tear, Sabonis was one of the most durable stars in basketball, a guy who played heavy minutes night after night, season after season, almost never sitting out. He is tough, he is skilled, he is smart, and he competes. This is not a fading veteran you are taking a flyer on. This is a player still squarely in his prime, who happens to be stuck on a team that has decided to start over around him. And I want to drive home why his specific skill set is the exact antidote to what killed the Lakers' season. Think back to that second round sweep against Oklahoma City. The Lakers got obliterated on the glass and in the paint. They could not secure defensive rebounds. They could not generate second chances. They got pushed around by bigger, tougher, more physical bigs. That is precisely the area where Domantas Sabonis is one of the best in the entire world. He is a rebounding monster, a player who would single-handedly transform the Lakers from a team that gets bullied on the boards into a team that controls them. Add that to what he does as a passer and a screener for Luka, and you are not just patching one hole. You are fixing the rebounding problem, the playmaking from the center problem, and the offensive spacing problem all at once with a single all-star. For a team that watched its season end because it could not match up physically in the front court, that is the difference between getting swept and competing for a title. So let me pull it all together. Everything about how this came out points to something real. The fact that it came directly from the agent, the people who do not waste a national reporter's time on nothing, the willingness of Shams Charania, one of the most careful and connected reporters in the business, to put his credibility on the line, and most of all, the way every piece fits. A rebuilding team openly willing to move its veteran all-star, a Lakers roster with a glaring, season-ending hole at exactly the center position. A franchise player in Luka Doncic who has been openly asking for this exact kind of frontcourt partner. A perfect meeting of two of the highest IQ offensive minds in the league. And a front office with the assets, the flexibility, and the proven willingness to swing big. When all of those things line up at once, you stop calling it a rumor and you start calling it a plan. I cannot promise you it gets done, Trades fall apart all the time. The price in draft capital is real, the knee is a legitimate question, and the Kings could decide to hold and try to rebuild Sabonis' value first. But when the agent makes the call and a reporter like Shams stakes his reputation on it, you take it seriously, because that is not how empty noise travels. The interest is real, the need is real, and the fit between the best passing big in the league and the best offensive engine in the league could not be cleaner. So now I want to hear from you, Lakers Nation, and I want a real answer, not a lazy one. If the price is a first-round pick or two and some salary matching, do you go get Domantas Sabonis to be Luka Doncic's frontcourt partner and finally fix the center spot that has ended your last 2 seasons? Or is the cost in picks and the risk of the knee too high for a team that still needs help on the wing? Drop your answer in the comments right now, because I read every single one, and I am already building a follow-up video where I break down exactly what a Lakers lineup looks like with Sabonis next to Luka, the 2-man game, the rotations, the salary path to make it legal, all of it. If you want to see that breakdown the second it is ready, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, smash the like so this reaches every Lakers fan who needs to hear it, and turn on the notification bell, because the moment this trade gets done or falls apart, the moment Shams or anyone else drops the next piece, I am going to be the first one breaking it down for you in plain language, with no fake reports and no nonsense. The window with Luka is open right now. The Lakers know it. And they might be about to make the one move that finally gives him the partner he has been asking for all along. Do not look away now, because the draft is almost here.